everybody. This is John and Joe Tuttle. This is our pilot episode of What If Studios' pop culture series. This is our first episode, and it's really the end of the year, and so our pilot episode here is just going to go over a bunch of the stuff, specifically film related, that has happened in the past year. Just kind of do an overview of the entire pop cultural landscape. Okay, so first we're going to go over what our favorite movies of the year were. Joe, you want to go first, or?
Sure. So my personal favorite movie of the year is probably Avengers: Infinity War, because it's Avengers. I felt they were gonna make it, but they didn't. Wow. So it was kind of disappointing, but I'm really glad Captain America lived, because if he had died, I would have
For now.
Yeah, for now. If he had died in Infinity War, I would have walked out of the theater. I would have been like, you can't not love Marvel. I mean, so I think Avengers is probably top of my list. What about you?
Well, I liked Black Panther myself. And mainly just because it was, I really thought it was an action movie that had some decent character development, which is hard to come by in a lot of fantasy films nowadays, and I just thought that part of it was really solid. And, it's got some great acting talent and a good story. So, in discussing the MCU, we'd also like to draw attention to Stan Lee, the famous comic book writer who created a bunch of the Marvel characters, originally for the comics. He passed away earlier this year, and I know a lot of comic fans and Marvel fans have been saddened by that death, and I am going to miss his amazing cameos in all the films. I gotta love those. He will be missed. So again, already a bunch of what we've just discussed is sci-fi, the science fiction genre, because it's something that I think we're both into, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I love the mad scientist, I love the dinosaur trampling the city, I love the superhero coming to save the day from the alien villains. It's pretty popular. I like that.
So John, what's your favorite Marvel character?
For me, it's Captain America. I say that because some people think he's really bland and boring and just so straightforward and, always doing the right thing. And, I mean, that's actually part of what appeals to me, but there are other ways that he shines through as a very human character with his faults, with his, he's not, omnipotent or unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yet he's always striving to do the good. So yeah, I got a lot of respect for the character.
Yeah. My favorite would probably have to be Hawkeye, actually, because he's like the only Avenger who actually has a family.
Yeah.
Like everyone else is like a loner, but he's like the only one who actually has someone to go home. He's the only one who actually has a family. He's the only one who has already dedicated himself to something, and he continues to go back to that. Like he has his job, but he continues to go back to his family. So I just think that's nice.
Yeah. So earlier this year, we got to see the reboot of Irwin Allen's 1960s sci-fi series Lost in Space as a Netflix original. I think there were quite a number of fans of the original series who did enjoy this newer adaptation. I was one of those. Like, I love the campy, corny, kooky 60s series. But I very much have enjoyed the first season of the Netflix reboot, and I am looking forward to the second season. So, a couple of the reasons I like the Lost in Space reboot, it's got hints of the original storyline, so I find that very interesting. Obviously, because it's based off the original show from 5 decades ago. But I really enjoy the newer adaptation in so much that it's a good action-packed series. It's sci-fi. I geek out over that. You got some nice bits of comedy, and you do have character development in just like this 10-part series. They were able to cram in quite a bit, and I do find it rather entertaining. I actually don't think the Lord of the Rings TV show is being released next year, but it's in the works. Whoever bought the rights to the TV show has X amount of time to finish the first season, or the rights get moved to another bidder. We love the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, yeah.
Hobbit movies, we wanted a heck of a lot more out of them, or in some ways a heck of a lot less out of them, if you know what I mean. But seeing the Lord of the Rings, seeing Middle Earth come to life on the screen was amazing. What Peter Jackson has done, and personally, I'd love to see like the Middle Earth tale being told, in that serialized format for a TV audience. I think right now there's just still like so much theorizing going on as to what the plot will be, whether it will follow the same characters from the films, and all that stuff. What do you think you would like to see in the Lord of the Rings TV show?
Well, I would like them to bring in the Silmarillion, like if they could start.
So, like, some of the history behind...
Yeah, maybe like flashbacks to like the Silmarillion, like as to why, Gandalf is like Gandalf, certain things, like, I don't know. I think that'd be cool if they could do that. That's really all. I mean, I like the movies, so I don't really need to see anything different. But if they brought in the Silmarillion parts, I think I would watch it for that.
Yeah. So speaking of Lord of the Rings, one of the great Tolkien experts, and really just an expert on a lot of literary figures, Joseph Pierce, a scholar, a professor, an author, has written extensively on Tolkien, on C.S. Lewis, on G.K. Chesterton,
Hilaire Belloc.
So, just this guy who has done an immense amount of studying the works of and the life of J.R.R. Tolkien, author of The Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, The Hobbit. And so he actually came and spoke a few months back in September at Benedictine College, where I'm going to college at this point. And it's really interesting because where I worked, I was able to get a hold of some free books that were deemed, unsaleable. And I had brought a few of these to college with me, 2 of which are by Joseph Pierce. And I talked to him after his speech on progress, and I got him to sign Catholic literary giants for me, and I told my brother a few days beforehand, like, hey, I have Tolkien, A Celebration, this collection of essays that Pierce helped to put together, and I got Pierce to sign that book for my brother. So that was really cool. It was really nice meeting him. Yeah, he's just a really decent man, and his parting word with just about everybody is, God bless you, and shakes your hand, and it's really authentic, and like you can really tell he really means it, and that was really nice to meet Joseph Pierce in person.
Speaking about Joseph Pierce, I really enjoyed his the hidden meaning of the Lord of the Rings that he did for the Catholic courses. I really enjoyed how he correlated, like Gandalf, dying and then coming back, taking a new form, like Jesus died, was resurrected, just like the amazing correlations between the Catholic faith and, the whole Lord of the Rings, and in fact, partially The Hobbit as well. So, yeah, that was cool.
It's not a coincidence, that's for sure. Okay, so 2018 actually marks the 80th anniversary of a certain famous or perhaps infamous radio broadcast, which unfortunately was taken to be fact as an actual live news broadcast. Of course, this is Orson Welles' adaptation of H.G. Wells' story, The War of the Worlds. I've done a lot of researching on, just the whole phenomena concerning this famous broadcast, and I gave a listen to the full audio version of the War of the Worlds radio broadcast from 1938, and for the time, and still even now, it is a very powerful, dramatic, audible work of art. And then I told my mom and brother about it, who, I'm like, you guys should listen to this is pretty entertaining. And so they did, and it inspired us to do our own audio adaptation of War of the Worlds, based primarily on the script of the 1938 radio broadcast in commemoration of the original's 80th anniversary on the air. It's the second episode of our podcast, so we'll leave a link here. I encourage you to check it out. It's I'm proud of it. Joe here plays a chief role in the production as a certain news anchor.
Reporter Carl Phillips.
I got a couple of guys from college, one of them in my dorm, and another buddy got to do some of the other voice work, and I did some of the voice work, and I think Joe here and the buddy I got to do the other news anchor did fantastic jobs in their roles. It came together really nicely. Also, we were really honored for that podcast to get author John McNichol, author of the novel The Tripod's Attack, which once again is another retelling of H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, but interestingly enough, it is actually the first in the novel series, the Young Chesterton Chronicles. And so, I mean, that's a meaty-ish book, It's decently thick. And we got John to do the voice of Farmer Wilmoth in the podcast. He has some experience in radio, so yeah, it was really cool, really fun having him join the team there. So this year we've seen several trailers for the upcoming Godzilla film.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yes. And it looks like there's going to be several Titans in addition to Godzilla that shall be making appearances in the film, particularly Ghidorah. Dun dun dun! So let's pull up that trailer and take a look.
Hello? Is anyone there? I'm trying to reach.
Senators, we believe that these titans are just the tip of the iceberg. Which of these titans are here to protect us? And which of these titans are here to threaten us?
So you'd want to make Godzilla our pet?
No. We would be his.
You're sure he's gonna be okay? They're everywhere.
Battling for dominance. A rival alpha to Godzilla.
You gotta be kidding.
So that second trailer really shows you a lot of the Titans, or alludes to quite a few of the Titans that are going to be part of this Godzilla King of the Monsters, such as, Rodan, Mothra, I think.
Ghidorah.
Um,
There's a few new ones, I think.
Yeah. Which of the more classical Titans are you looking forward to seeing back in action in the new film?
Definitely Rodan, because in the trailer it actually looks like there are two of them. So that'd actually be based off of the original story, the original Rodan movie. There were two of them. One died, but one lived. So I think that'd be interesting if they went, off the original show. Mothra and Ghidorah, obviously, he was a big rival in the original show. So
Yeah, it looks like there's going to be a lot of tension, a lot of emotion, a lot of action. So it looks like it's going to be pretty fun to watch.
hopefully this movie will actually be able to see what goes on.
The other movie
was just
not like
too
so
dark.
the lighting's so low
Yeah.
key that you can't even see Godzilla's face the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Even then, it's still pretty dark.
So hopefully.
So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to there. And then so Christmas time is here, and a few weeks ago, Star Trek actor William Shatner came out with a new holiday album entitled Shatner Claus, and Yeah, Joe, why don't you pull up the Feliz Navidad, his cover of that, and let's just take a listen. Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
William Shatner can be a phenomenal actor, mostly when he's not in Star Trek.
Repeat. The imposter is not to be injured.
Lieutenant Kirk! I'm Captain Kirk!
And he can be a fair writer to boot. But when it comes to singing, like this album, I mean, thank God that he got other artists to actually sing and have guest appearances in these songs, because when he's putting his voice to music, he's really not singing. And the cackling, particularly in that one,
it kind of makes it sound, no offense, but
yes,
it kind of make it sounds like he's been drinking.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds
he's
like he's a bit gassed in some of the lines of that one. I'm a fan of his acting, but
yeah, if you want a good laugh,
his album is kind of just. I find it comic relief.
Yeah, if you want a good laugh, go and listen to the entire album.
Our series here is about pop culture. Please give us a like and a follow if you can, if you'd like to. We plan on discussing a broad range of topics, including comics, traditional literature, film, TV, radio, bringing a lot of historical aspects into that, as well as keeping it very modern as well. Obviously discussing a lot of Christian viewpoints in our critiquing sometimes. And we also intend on having, I think, a few guests on regularly, so yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I hope you enjoy our first episode, and we look forward to bringing you more on pop culture.